Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about playing video games and streaming on the internet. My name is Crunky.
I'm Cherry Cake.
I'm Sunny D.
Today we're going to talk about a couple of things. We've been not each of us, but D and Cherry have been playing a couple of new indie games called Oxenfree and Mr. Shifty. But that's not all we've been playing. Also this week, I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil 2. I went back because of the Resident Evil 2 remake and started playing the original Resident Evil. How about you, Cherry? What have you been playing?
Mainly carrying on from last week. I mentioned I've been playing Zelda Breath of the Wild. I've still been getting into that. And what you mentioned off air, just been playing a lot of Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. How about you, D? What have you been playing?
I have been playing a lot of Kingdom Hearts, the first one. I'm kind of trying to work my way through the series so I can get to the third one, which looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't wait.
I saw you saying that you can't wait to understand everything, and people were just like, oh, well, that's not going to happen. That thing is such a convoluted mess. So, Cherry, have you ever played a Kingdom Hearts game?
I have not, no. I'm not entirely sure that it's my kind of game. I think we talked about Kingdom Hearts before, and saying that it passed me by because the whole Square Enix thing that went on.
Right.
And
those traitors.
I know, how dare they? But I think I had, because Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out relatively soon, I had it in my head that I was going to give Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, well, the collection, what they have, a try. And after looking at some gameplay, I was like, I don't think this is my kind of game. Yeah, but I can see why people like to play it. Yeah.
Well, how has your experience been Kingdom Hearts 1D?
I've enjoyed it. I had to get used to seeing like Final Fantasy looking character. Well, there are Final Fantasy characters in it, but like my main character looks like one, but has huge feet, which bothers me a little bit. I'll just warn you there. But that's a Disney thing. It's seeing them mixed in with the Disney, but somehow they make it work. I think It's because the story pretty much is that there's all these separate worlds, and some of them aren't supposed to know about each other, but then you go to them, and it's very unusual, but they do make it work, and I've really been enjoying it so far.
Oh, okay. How far into you're on Kingdom Hearts 1 still, right?
Yes.
How far in do you think you are? Or how many hours have you put in?
I think I'm like maybe 3 or 4 worlds away from being done with it. I'm not sure exactly how many hours. I'm like level 33 right now.
Yeah. Yes, just from watching you stream it, I bet you're 25 hours in, if I had to bet.
Yeah, probably something like that. Because I think somebody told me if you played straight through, it was like 40 hours.
Oh, okay. That makes you a little over halfway through.
Yeah.
I do have to ask Dee, how did you find the combat controls in it? Because I started playing, I've literally played like 10 minutes of it, and I did the tutorial part on Kingdom Hearts 1, and I could not get to grips with the controls at all. I don't know if that's just a statement of like the period it was released in first time around, but how was your experience with it?
It's been a little rough. I'll be honest. You do get used to it. There's hot buttons you can use on your controller. I found out for Magic, which has made it a little easier for me. But right now I'm in this kingdom where I'm in Atlantica with Ariel, and the swimming in that game has made me a little frustrated, but I got to go back and think, okay, this is an older game. You just kind of have to deal with it. Everybody's been telling me like Kingdom Hearts 2, though, the controls are much better. The menu's not so bogged down.
Yeah.
But I got used to it though. I like it. I like the combat really, and I like being able to switch out the characters, whatever world you're in. Like, I was in Aladdin's world, so he got to fight right next to me.
Cool.
I really enjoyed that. So that was a lot of fun.
Are you getting into the story at all? Is that fleshed out in part 1, or is it more an action game?
No, you start, well, like the cutscenes are done very well. It's kind of, it's kind of like still completely a mystery what's going on. Yeah. So I'm getting there though.
Don't worry, they're totally going to explain it all in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do you remember Go ahead, Cherry.
Go. Oh, I was going to say, I watched a video yesterday of a group of YouTubers that I watch, and they were rounding up the Kingdom Hearts series as an entirety, all the games that have been released, and they put them in release order from start to finish up until Kingdom Hearts 3, and then they put them in what they class as a sequential order, so from like when they think the story, or when they know the story should start, to when it up to Kingdom Hearts 3. It makes no sense at all. It's like one of like the first games has been released, like it was like number 12 on the list out of like 13, I think. And it's so convoluted. Anyone who understands that is an absolute wizard to me.
You know what I think it probably is? It's probably got like spaghetti writing. They probably didn't have the same writers for each one. Yeah. And the people who, I think that like the diehard fans, because there's a lot of people streaming Kingdom Hearts 3 right now, and there are a lot of fans of it, there's no question, are more like stream of consciousness into the story. Like they probably played the first one 5-10 years ago and don't remember all the details. They just remember the big feelings and overarching story, and kind of understand that it's for what I've seen, and I'm no expert, it seems to me that there's like one main storyline and then a bunch of like threads that go everywhere that maybe even some of them contradict each other because it's this imaginary fantasy land, you know, where they go to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've never been into it. Do you remember when we, this is like PlayStation 2, into PlayStation 2 era. I went and got a PlayStation 2 and a bunch of used games.
Oh, I think so. For some reason, I'm thinking about 3, but PlayStation 3.
No, this is 2003-ish. We still lived in our old house. But I went and bought a PS2, and I bought Kingdom Hearts. There were a bunch of games I bought. Like I think one of the Grand Theft Autos, maybe Shadow of the Colossus, all the God of War 1, 2. Remember when I played God of War 1 and 2 on the PS2?
Oh yeah, I remember.
I finally had enough money to, and everything was used and really cheap because I was basically a generation behind. It was right before the PS3 came out, and I tried to play Kingdom Hearts then, and I was just like, no. You know, not only was I not really into it, but every time I got frustrated, I looked at this giant pile of other games I could play. So I was like, swapped it out.
Nice.
But that's my Kingdom Hearts experience. So, Cherry, we talked about Zelda last week. You still enjoying that?
Yeah. Breath of the Wild still going.
Yeah.
Not really much else to say about it, really. It's
just more of the great stuff. Have we talked about Siege on here before?
Yes, we have done Siege before.
Did we do a whole episode on it?
I believe so.
Oh, I didn't remember.
Yeah, I do remember covering that.
Yeah,
I think we talked about other things, but
we did. You're right. So we've been playing Siege lately. Did you unlock any new operators?
Grinding away. Just because I refuse to buy currency in games.
Right.
So just earning money, only earning the currency that's in the game to unlock some new operators. There has been an update, so there's a couple of new operators that you can play as. One's Cade, which is on the defense.
Yeah, I think he's on offense. No, you're right. I'm sorry.
Nomad is on. No, Nomad's offense because she's got the air jabber.
The air jabber, yeah.
I can't remember I think it's called that. There's another one that's got the guy that looks like the guy from the A-Team with the cigar in his mouth.
Oh yeah, he's got the cigar in his mouth.
Maestro, that's it.
Maestro,
that's he looks like.
Yeah, he does too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the design of Cade. I don't think he's very suited for this style of game because he doesn't look like he would be very good as an operator.
You don't like his look, or you don't like the way he moves, the way he plays?
No, the way he looks. He looks like an old man.
Okay. Well, old men can still game. God damn it.
Sure. Okay.
He's probably older than me.
Yeah, most definitely. He's like in his mid-50s.
Oh man, that used to sound so old, D.
Ah, I know.
Aw, you guys aren't old.
I love playing as Cade though. His electric thing, like it puts a circle on the ground or the wall, and after you activate it, it can charge walls and the floor stuff, like the what do you call that? The razor wire?
Oh yeah, the barbed wire. Yeah,
The barbed wire,
yeah. I remember you saying that you quite like playing as him.
Yeah, and he's got a good gun. I like his gun. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but I don't have all the gun names memorized. I'm still like trying to get my feet under me in Siege.
It's a massive game. It's bigger than what you think it is. And
Yeah.
me and Zerka were talking about it, and he was saying that the one thing that he wants to work on is his map knowledge. And it's one of those things that you have to learn the more you play the game, because they're just the maps are quite convoluted sometimes, depending on which ones you're at, and it just takes time just to understand like where the main entries are from, people coming in, and where you should place your equipment, and etc. stuff like that, basically.
Absolutely. And I had a 11 kill MVP, well, not MVP in one round, but I had 11 kill total round between the three phases, or match, 11 kill match, and I got an MVP for the first time. I was playing by myself last night, with randomers, and it was because I knew the map. I picked a roaming defender, and I got in a corner. We were defending downstairs. I got upstairs in a corner, and I listened, and like, okay, they're coming in this side. They're probably the people that come upstairs are going to come in from this side. I'm going to swoop around behind them as they get closer to the objective and shoot them all in the back.
Nice.
And it works.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just on that topic of Cade, he is 58.
Hey, he's just in really good shape.
Fair play to him if he's still going at that age.
I hate to burst your bubble, Cherry, but he's not real.
What?
He's not real.
He's
Wait,
not real?
Wait, Siege is
No.
based on reality?
My whole world.
Well, I've been playing a lot more Resident Evil 2. I've been watching a friend of the podcast, Chichin, do speedruns on it all week. And then I've been trying to do my own not speedruns, but like the challenges where you get the some of the things done in under 3 hours, to where you get an S+ ranking and unlock like unlimited ammo stuff for fun. And I've been playing also on stream this week. I played Resident Evil 1 with the help of the Bro Zerker, who was a guest not too long ago on the show. I've always wanted to finish that game, so I've actually got Resident Evil 1 now that I'm slightly invested in the story. The Resident Evil story is like a bad soap opera sometimes, but I really now I'm just curious to see where it goes. But that's what I've been playing. You guys have also been playing a couple of indie games. Do you want to start with Oxenfree? Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes.
What kind of game is it before you get started, though?
It's pretty much kind of, I guess you could almost explain it as like choose your own adventure type of deal.
Oh, okay.
You have choices. You do some platforming. It's also kind of like a puzzle game too. It's actually, I could actually kind of compare it to the game I played before, and for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it now.
Oh, the
Forgotten Anne. Yeah. You have to make quicker choices, though. I did notice the one thing I wish I had been able to do is have a little bit more of a chance. They don't give you much of a chance in this one, even compared to Forgotten Anne. It's like you have to pick your answer pretty quickly.
If you don't pick an answer, what happens?
The characters just keep on talking.
Okay.
They just take it for silence from you, I guess, pretty much.
Oh, okay. What is the story in this game?
Basically, it's about these teenagers that go out to this island. It's normally like a tourist trap, pretty much. You go out there, and a lot of people go see. There's a lot of different memorials out there, and there's a beach. And usually during the in season, there's a bunch of people there, but they go on the off season. And when I think it's pretty much fall. It seems like it's cold. And they go out there it was like close to nighttime, and they have a big bonfire. And
so there's like teens out hanging out, having a good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically it's about this, you start out as this girl who is bringing her so-called stepbrother. She just got the stepbrother. Her mom just married his dad, and he's kind of tagging along with them, with her and her friend, and they're going to go meet two of their other friends.
Okay.
So you go through and you meet up with a friend, and you're sitting on the beach, and then all of a sudden, all this weird stuff starts happening.
So I don't know how much of the game you played this too, right, Cherry?
I have, yes.
I don't know how much of this would be spoilers to talk about the weird stuff, but could you tell us anything about how weird it was without giving away any endings or anything like that?
That's what I don't want to do because, this has a lot of replayability. It's about, you can get like 10 different endings, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Because of the different choices. The weird, yeah, see, I don't want to give away too much.
Do it.
Yeah, just give away.
Well, I mean, don't tell about the endings, but like what happens to our teens out in the woods? Does Michael Myers show up? I mean, what happens?
Oh, that's fine.
Well, you end up going into the cave with your stepbrother, and all of a sudden, like the strange rift opens up in the air. And all the teens all of a sudden are broken up. All of them have disappeared. You're trying to find your friends.
Okay.
So you start searching around the island, trying to figure out where you are. You end up finding a radio tower. You find this radio that you're carrying around, and you have to search different frequencies to find different things. It's kind of freaky. It's kind of like, they do call it a supernatural thriller. Okay. That is in the description of the game, so I'm not letting that. It's not a spoiler. But I really enjoyed the character interaction, because you start finding out different stories about, the different friends. You find out what their relationships are, why the main girl you're playing as, why she's kind of, against having this new stepbrother, and it takes them a while to get to know each other. I mean, you can say, in like Forgotten Anne, you can be pretty mean in this game.
Right.
So it'd be pretty interesting to see what happens.
Did you play like an aggressive run where you're just a total jerk to everybody?
Yes, you can, especially as teenagers.
Right.
Because there's this one girl, everybody was hoping that she's just going to die.
Oh my God.
I was like, okay, guys, let's, because I did play this on stream. But it's just funny. It's like everyone's cheering. I hope she dies. It's like, wow.
To be fair, Dee, she did kind of have it coming. She wasn't a nice character.
Yeah.
Did her outfit not match or something?
No, just her whole demeanor.
Jerk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you do find out why she's kind of being a jerk, though. So you kind of start sympathizing with her a little bit.
She's kind of rude. I hope she dies.
Just justified. One thing I do like in this is that what you're talking about, the relationships then, obviously because you go with your stepbrother in inverted commas, and I think some of your best friends, or one of your best friends as well, which you've known for like years and years and years. And there's throughout the game, there's choices that you have to make, and you have to take a side. And it's interesting to see what happens when you take someone else over the other guy. So I like that aspect of the gameplay is really neat. And what you were saying then, Dee, about replaying it and choosing the other option to see what happens. I was thinking those kind of games are really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I did too.
Games that have those like meaningful decisions that it changes the outcome of the game. Those are real fun to play because, or to replay because it's like playing it a second game almost.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things about the Mass Effect series is that literally the endings change if and certain people don't make it to the end. If you like they literally in Mass Effect 2 make you choose which character do you save and which one do you leave behind to die in certain areas.
Mm. Yeah, there's one part in the game that you get 3 choices, and depending on what you choose will affect the ending. It's like a massive turning point in the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, going back and seeing what the other choices, what would happen if you pick one of the other choices, is really cool.
Now, didn't Sinistar gift you this game?
No, he didn't gift it. He suggested it though.
Oh, okay.
So, which I appreciate. Yeah, he made a really good suggestion on that. I was just about to say that he suggested it to me.
So
you play this?
You don't...
Do you play this on PC?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. I played it on Switch.
Oh, you played it on the Switch? Yeah, I was thinking that it just recently came out on the Switch, but it actually came out
the end of
last year. Or 2017, okay.
Yeah, so a while ago, yeah.
Well, I would think this would be neat on the Switch, though. It seems like a perfect little game to play on there.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about this, I got recommended this also by a friend because he was playing it on his commute to work, and he said, check it out, it's quite fun. It's a bit weird, a bit different, but I think you'll enjoy it. So I got it. And I played, I think, probably about 10, 15 minutes of it. I was like, I'm not really bothered about this. So I put it down and didn't really go back to it. And then one day I was looking through my Switch and I was like, I'm bored. So I checked my library because I haven't got any money to spend on any games. And I came back across it. And although it did take me a little bit to get into it and get used to the style of the gameplay and all the quirky parts of it, it's a really, really fun experience. But
wow.
Yeah, I will say, just for me personally anyway, it was a little bit difficult just to get into that first little bit of gameplay. But after you get past that, and it's such a great game.
Did you have issues getting started, D, or was it easier because you were like just on stream, so you were just plowing through it?
I think it was easier for me to get into it because, I was on stream. I streamed the whole thing. So
okay.
It was kind of nice, everybody being there. And who was it? I think it was Erasmus and Beardy. They both said that my ending, they'd seen several other people play, but they'd never seen the ending I got. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
How many hours did it take you to finish the playthrough? Both of you, I guess.
Maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
I think at the most.
Yeah,
probably streamed it twice, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I streamed it twice. Yep. I did it in 2 nights.
It seems like a lot longer to me, but I think it was because I did it like periodically.
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe yours actually was longer because of different ending, a different path.
Yeah. I am curious to hear what D's ending was now, but obviously spoilers.
Spoilers, we won't talk about the ending.
I can't do that, but I wish I could.
So it sounds to me like I watched you stream a little bit of it, D, but I didn't really follow what was going on. It seems like a neat story that you can replay. It almost reminds me of the old Maniac Mansion, D.
Oh, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that as I was playing it. I'm like, oh, this is like Maniac Mansion. And there were a couple parts that just really freaked me out.
But it wasn't as like off the wall comedy or goofy, right?
Actually, no. What Cherry was talking about, the one, Alex, who's your main character. I'm sorry, I just remember her name. Her friend that she's had forever, he makes jokes the whole time. So there is actually quite a bit of comedy in it, in between the scariness.
Yeah, he's the comedy relief.
So would you guys recommend this game or?
Yeah, I would recommend it for people who like kind of doing like a story game. It's definitely a story game. Okay. It's definitely a heavy based story game. And figuring out maybe like the little puzzles and finding out the mystery of the island. If anybody likes that, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'd say it was probably along the same lines of what you mentioned, like Forgotten Anne. So if you like things that's quite heavy, story heavy, with some puzzles in it and adventuring, like exploring kind of thing. But yeah, if you like Forgotten Anne, I would say you were going to like this as well.
All right. Well, you were talking about the Switch. We'll do a real quick video game news update, if you will. For those of you guys who haven't already heard, Nintendo did a little like surprise YouTube announcement last week where they popped on their feed and just said, hey, we from time to time we look at what we're doing and decide that it's not working and we stop and start over. And they said that's what's going on with Metroid Prime 4. They put out a little... Did we talk about this last week, Cherry?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think I talked about it on stream, but not on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let me just put a little note in there. Anyway, so basically they came out and said, we reviewed it, and the work we've done far along is not good, so we're going to go back to retro games and start over. And there were like some tweets from the developer, like old developers at Retro who no longer work there were like, who's doing this? Because we've been working on a Metroid stuff since 2015, and they scrapped all that.
What? They just binned it?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be assets and stuff that they'll go to Retro and go, here's what we've got, and use what you want. But basically, they're starting over.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think Nintendo's actually going to say who their second or third party developer that has been working on it was, or if it was Nintendo internally. They're never going to say, because it would like trash the careers of people, and they don't want to do that. But they basically said, we're not happy with where we are right now, so we're gonna start over, and we're gonna work with Retro. So
the people that were making this one before and now not making this new one that they're doing.
That's like the assumption of the conversations that I've read, is that like they were using either a outside or like what they call a second party, one that works exclusively with Nintendo. And Nintendo looked at the progress where we were, and they were like, well, we need a fish or cut bait right here, and they just said nope.
Oh, man.
Which is, if you're a fan of the trilogy, the Prime trilogy, then it's good in a way that they're going back to Retro. It just stinks that they tried to do it without Retro first. And Retro worked on Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and they did
nice.
If you look at the list of things that they've done, every bit of it's been great. They've done some ports to 3DS for them, but this is the same week that Nintendo had in the news that they are lowering their projections for the fourth quarter this year of how many Switches they're going to sell. So their stock price tumbled like 9% on that news. A lot of speculation
9%.
That's a huge deal. A lot of people are suspecting that means that it's not just Metroid Prime 4 being delayed. I don't think anyone expected it to come out this year. Well, maybe I'm sure somebody did, but I think people who are realistic probably expected it to come out next year. But it makes me wonder what big titles for 2019 they're going to delay.
Yeah.
Or maybe their sales are trailing off after the holidays. I don't know. Their hardware sales,
what they've sort of slated for release this year. Apart from the one that I'm most bothered about, which is the new Yoshi game. So that's all I care about.
The Crafted World.
Yeah.
They've got some big ones. Maybe not ones that we're excited about, but ones that would be big sales. Like the new mainline Pokemon game would be huge. They've got Yoshi's Crafted World. They've got there's a couple other really big ones that I'm blanking on right now.
Animal Crossing?
Yeah, Animal Crossing for the Switch, which I don't care about, but that's a huge crowd. Metroid was, it did say 2019 on it at one point, I'm pretty sure. But so we'll see. We'll see how 2019 goes for the Switch. They had a really good 2018. They were, I think I had mistakenly said last week that they sold more hardware in 2018 than Sony and Microsoft, but it wasn't true. Sony's sold just like a little bit more hardware than Nintendo did overall. The what I had read was just in Japan, and that not the world over. So, you guys have any thoughts on Nintendo at all?
I know people were hoping that since it's gotten delayed, Metroid, that they're hoping that the Metroid trilogy will come out, because there's a couple of people have said that it's already done, and they were trying to wait until the new Metroid came out to put it right out before, but maybe since they're having to delay it, we'll actually get that for the Switch.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I guess that'd be interesting.
If they upgrade the controls. If you've ever tried to go back and play Metroid Prime 1, it's made with motion controls, and it's really frustrating to play.
Did anyone see the rumors of a new Switch coming out?
Yeah, I did. I did see that. With like the article I read said it would be a little bit more powerful, but it would have a little bit less features, like the near field control and all that stuff would be gone for Amiibo.
Yeah, I think there was something about it being slightly smaller as well. Something like
Yeah, that would be bad for me because I'm blind.
It's small enough.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I like the size of it. So
Yeah.
What would that do to your Joy-Cons? They would be like...
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Size. I don't know how they can make it smaller. The only other thing that I can think is maybe make it thinner, but you've got like the left and right buttons on the top.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's only rumours anyway. Whether it happens or not is another thing. But
right.
Personally, I don't see how they can make it smaller.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they were to like change the way that the controllers hook up, maybe keep the controllers the same size, but have them hook on to the side and it'd be smaller in the middle. But I don't know why you'd want that.
Oh no, that would be so weird.
No, I don't like things that are different.
No, that would. I think that would trigger me because it like they wouldn't be in line.
Yeah. You don't like things that are in line, right?
Well, it would just look weird having Joy-Cons and then like bits of the Joy-Con that aren't like flush with the actual screen itself.
I mean, we're talking about Nintendo. There's stuff looking weird. It's kind of a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, it's true.
I remember the first time I saw an N64 controller, I'm like, what the hell is that thing? Favorite alien with 3 arms to play. So, also you've been playing this past week, or maybe a couple weeks ago now, Mr. Shifty, Cherry? Is that an indie game?
Yeah, it's not really a new one, but again, I was sat bored, and I was looking on the Switch, and I was actually on the shop, and I'd seen Mr. Shifty being played by, I think it was Jacksepticeye, on YouTube. Because it originally had a release for the PC way back in 2017. So I'd seen some gameplay. Yeah, this is like nearly a year and a half ago. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I'd seen some gameplay of it, and it was one of those games that I wanted something to play, but nothing that would involve brain work. So, yeah.
Brain need rest now. Must game.
Pretty much. So I was looking at this one, and it was the perfect for what I wanted at the time.
So what kind of game is it? Could you talk us through like how it plays or what you're supposed to do in it?
Yeah, pretty much. I will say it's not the most in depth of games. It really does only take like maybe a couple of hours to get through. Okay. But basically, it's a top down, almost a top down anyway. Beat 'em up. It's got a style of like a comic book, so it's very, very bright, very colourful, cell shaded style, which is really neat, really, really fun to look at.
Yeah, art style can go a long way in making you enjoy a game. I found, especially like if it's something unique and stands out.
Yeah, it really adds to it because I don't think if it was just. I won't say any other style. If it was in pixel style, I probably would have enjoyed it as well. But I'm a pixel fan anyway. But right. if it wasn't in the comic book style, I don't think it would appeal as much as it does, because it really adds to it. Especially as I say, like it's not too heavy on content, so something pretty to look at is better than nothing. So yeah, it's a top-down beat 'em up style, and. I can talk about the story if you want, but it really is very basic. All it is, you play as a character, which is you are a thief for hire, I guess, and you have this unique ability to shift through things. Hence, Mr. Shifty, which means like you can phase through walls and enemies and move quickly. This ability that you have like 5 charges, so obviously you can't constantly use it, so there's a little bit of strategy involved in using it to get around.
Do they kind of like regen over time?
Yeah, It's exactly that, yeah.
So you beat guys up, warp through the walls, beat up the guys in the other room, and then come back?
That is essentially the game, yeah.
Is it preset levels, or is it a roguelike with random levels, or how does it work?
No, it's very preset. You are in like a tower block. The basic story is that you've been hired by this company, and you're set out to steal a plutonium core from this big boss evil guy that you eventually end up fighting called Mr. Stone, who is an incredible letdown, by the way.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's one of the downsides to the game itself is that the final boss is just really disappointing.
Right.
Because there's nothing particularly unique about it. And it's just more of what you've been doing through the levels. So you're in this tower block, and the levels are preset. You go through the tower block, you move up, you move down, and eventually find the plutonium core and fight the boss. And that's pretty much it.
Well, straight. Sometimes, though, like you said, you want to just sit back and I don't need to make any decisions. I just beat the hell out of some people, shift through some walls, and keep going.
Yeah, exactly. It is exactly that. Like you just said, there's no real brain power involved in it. You just go through levels and just beat everyone up until they're dead, and then move on to the next level. And I guess there are different ways, like to get rid of these enemies. Sometimes, like you can destroy furniture and get different weapons that you can use. Different enemies that you can come across that have different weapons that fight against you. So they have shotguns, they have assault rifles. There's even some turrets in there as well. But generally, there is only one way, one exit to the level. So you just kill the people and then just move on, really.
Nice. So it's a good beat 'em up. That's I've talked in episodes past about there's like 3 different ways in which a video game can be entertaining, and the best of them hit all 3 of these. Is it enjoyable just to play the mechanics of it, cathartic? And that's like a game like Double Dragon or Mr. Shifty, or there's not a whole lot of thinking. The story's very basic. I think about that the game that we play with all the 80 stars in it. Cherry, what was that called? Broforce?
Oh, Broforce, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Contra shoot 'em up. I mean, it's that one's also got the funny references in the audio. But I mean,
yeah.
if you think about back in the like early video game days in Atari or before Atari, even at the arcades, Space Invaders was, here's your ship, there's aliens coming down, you just shoot them, that's it. There's no story, and people would play it for hours and upon hours because the core mechanics of driving the ship and shooting things, making them explode, was fun. And then next thing you know, the other thing that can make a game great is great story or dialogue, and things that you care about, like a movie, like a good film or a novel. Your Final Fantasy types, or epic RPGs. The combat in that is literally, there's no action involved in a turn-based RPG. You're making decisions. And then the third thing I think can be the art style or the audio design, those things that like can elevate a game above what it really is. Like we've all played or seen the game Braid, right?
Yes.
That it's for its time. It had an amazing art style. It was like I kind of view it. There were probably other indie games before it, but I view it as the one that kind of like shifted mainstream focus away from AAA titles to indie games as being a legit competitor for a lot of people's money. And Braid was known for its look and its music above its gameplay style. It also happened to have really intricate story and good gameplay mechanic as well. But I think what really caught people's eye for its time was that it was all hand drawn and looked really beautiful. And sometimes, I didn't mention this earlier in what we've been playing lately, but my most played game in 2019 on the Switch is the NES version of Dr. Mario, because before I go to bed, I'll just turn it on and play it for 20 minutes. And just, I love that game. And it was funny because I didn't play it a lot back in the day, but when the Wii U, had its, we'll just say, drought of games there in the 2014, before when it was clear they made the decision to stop supporting it and they hadn't put the Switch out yet, they one of the things they dumped was Dr. Luigi. Did you ever see that one, Cherry? RD, do you remember playing that, Dr. Luigi?
Oh, I remember it. I played it for a while.
Yeah, we had that game in the house, and we had a friend stay with us for. He was moving to the other side of the state, and he had like 2 weeks where he was not he had to move out of his old apartment, but couldn't get his new apartment, and he asked to stay with us. And we're like, sure. And like every night after work, we would just sit down there and play Dr. Luigi co-op for me and D and him would sit down and play for, I don't know, hours upon hours. We're like, man, I forgot how good this game could be. And ever since the Nintendo Online came out, I'm like, oh, Dr. Mario's on here. I haven't played that for 2 years.
So what's the difference between Dr. Mario and Dr. Luigi then?
The Dr. Luigi just had like a separate game mode. Like, to be honest, I think the pills could be different colors. Could be like, to be honest, I don't remember. I don't remember exactly the difference. It was basically the same game.
Well, it was kind of updated too, like the graphics. And
it looked a lot nicer. I really wish they'd put it on the Switch because it's a great updated game. But actually, I think now I know why they're putting out a Dr. Mario mobile game. I read the news on that this week. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, there's gonna be a Dr. Mario mobile game, which could be huge because it's basically Tetris, but with a slight twist on it. If you've never played it, Cherry, they put these. There's a jar with these like different colored bugs in it, right? Like viruses supposedly. And Mario tosses a pill in, and the pill it's random what color it's going to be, and you have to set the pill on top of the bugs and get and the pills are 2 squares and the bugs are 1 square, and you have to basically make rows of 4. And if you do that, it gets rid of the bugs. The idea is to get rid of all the bugs, and then you win that level and go on to a harder level. Sort of like Tetris, make four or make a row and it disappears.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we've all played Tetris. Oh, you have? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was for the 4 people listening to the podcast that don't know what I'm talking about. This is how Dr. Mario works, everybody.
What was it initially released for?
NES.
What console? The NES.
Yeah.
Really? It wasn't on any other console?
There were updated versions of it. I think there was a SNES version and maybe a, I don't remember all the releases. I think there was a Game Boy one, I want to say.
Well, I want to say there was because I know it before what was being released on the Switch. I remember playing it, and we never had a NES, so and we never had a SNES either. So I'm assuming that it was for the Game Boy.
Yeah, I'm almost positive there was a Game Boy version.
The only thing with that is that I don't know how you would tell the colours apart. Because we had the old school Game Boy that was like green and black.
Yeah, I think what they would do there is they'd have like one that was just an outline, so that one was white. They'd have a solid filled one, and then they'd have one like checkered. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
That would make sense.
Let's see. The releases for Dr. Mario. There was an arcade version, apparently.
Wow.
There was an enhanced. Let's see. The original one came out in 1990. There was an enhanced remake paired with Tetris for the SNES called Tetris and Dr. Mario in 94.
Oh, God.
The NES version was ported twice to the Game Boy Advance. So, just 30 years ago almost.
Oh my gosh, don't say it like that. Oh no.
Remember it like it was yesterday, D.
Oh.
Well, guys, that's going to about do it for the podcast this week. Cherry and Dee, thank you both for being on today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dee, how can people get a hold of you online?
Oh, I on Twitter, I am at the Sunny D. And then on Twitch, I am twitch.tv/ the Sunny D.
Make sure you get the / right, because if you tell people /, they will never figure out how to do it. Do you remember all the old commercials where it'd be, we're at www.
Yes. Even better when it starts saying HTTP.
Exactly. Cherry, how about you? How can people get a hold of you?
As usual, if you guys want to get hold of me on Twitter, I am cherrycake at cherrycake518, and I am on Twitch at twitch.tv/ cherrycaketv. What about you, Grant?
Or if you just Google churro, she'll probably come up there too.
Yeah.
I'm at crunky_twitch on Twitter, and I'm on twitch.tv/ crunky. I really need to change that because it sounds so bad when I say it that way. my someone had taken at crunky with 2 N's. I really need to reach out to that person and just get my name, pay for it or whatever. But okay, I've done going on tangents today. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.